about your life after baby loss. Did you try to conceive again? And what measures were taken to conceive?
Yes. After the second miscarriage, I felt like there's got to be something wrong with me. I'm not doing something right here. And so my doctor recommended a specialist that I should go to see, what could possibly be wrong. And so the specialist did all kinds of series of tests that pretty much led to nothing. The only thing that I did differently was she told me to take more D3. And then at one point, she mentioned the option to be a part of an IVF study, which would have allowed me to do IVF at a discounted price. But the wait for that was just so long. It's like I ended up having to follow up with her to figure out, hey, where are we with this? And, it just felt like I was in a holding pattern. And, and as I'm telling my husband this and following up for updates, he's like, well, it doesn't seem like they're finding anything wrong with you. It really doesn't hurt to try again. But at this point, I'm at a place of, okay, well, I'm just going to work on letting go and seeing what happens. I did change my diet and exercise because at this point, after the second miscarriage, I gained about 20 pounds. I didn't have any motivation to work out, none of the things, which is very abnormal for me because I'm a runner. And so that's the way I normally work out. So I went back to running, doing what I knew. I lost the 20 pounds and a little bit more. And sure enough, that actually kind of helped the process.
Okay. Was it difficult for you to conceive?
I wouldn't say necessarily difficult. It was more of trying to figure out what was wrong with me. Why did I lose these other babies? That specialist that I did mention said, sometimes you just miscarry because there's something wrong with the baby, not necessarily you. And that's probably what happened during those 2 miscarriages. So, once we got back on board with trying again, no, not really.
What was your emotional state during this process?
It was up and down, up and down. There were times when I could swear, okay, this is it. I'm pregnant. I feel all of the things. And, I go and take a pregnancy test and it's not, and I get my period again. It's like, oh. And then when that happens, it's like, it hurts a little bit every single time. Something about me I didn't mention before was that I have fibroids. And so the fibroids give you like similar symptoms that make you think you're pregnant. And so it's kind of like a setup for failure almost in your thought process, and only to find out that you're not. So it was a lot of highs and lows, peaks, ups, hills and valleys, hills and valleys.
How did you feel when you found out you were pregnant again?
By the time I found out I was pregnant, I had given up on taking pregnancy tests. My husband looked at me one day and he said, "You're pregnant." I was like, "What? No, I'm not pregnant. I'm not pregnant." It's like, "Yeah, go get one of the tests. You're pregnant." And sure enough, I was pregnant. I was like, "What?" It's like, it felt like, okay, I finally released this. I'm done with it. Whatever you want to do, Lord, have your way. That's the moment that it happened. So.
Were you extra careful during the pregnancy, or did you do anything differently?
I can't say that I did much differently. I was more proactive in asking questions at the doctor's office because, I've had this experience where it didn't work out well, right? So, I tell the doctor, "Hey, I'm drinking coffee still. Is that okay?" And God knew to pair me with the right doctor. This was an old school doctor, and he said, "Look, I have seen it all. I've seen people smoke up until the last day of their pregnancy. You can have your cup of coffee confidently." So he was very reassuring, and just there to answer the questions, which was great and very helpful for me after, experiencing miscarriage. The only other difference that I would point out is that, once I was a little bit further along in the pregnancy, friends want to hand off things to help with bringing on the new baby, or want to plan a shower for you. And I was really hesitant about those things because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, this could end tomorrow, and then I've got to figure out what to do with this stuff. So much to the point where, I didn't decorate a room or any of those things until maybe 30 days before the due date. And I remember there being a point where, my husband's cousin was trying to, send me some stuff in advance. And I'm just like, look, no, thank you. I really don't want this right now. And she came back to him and asked, well, why didn't she want these things? And I had to explain, I'm not at a point to mentally receive these things and be okay with receiving these things. And so, I had to tell her no. But, that didn't stop other people from sending me things. And it just kind of gave me anxiety when those things were presented to me, instead of me feeling thankful and happy about, them being happy that we're going to have another baby. So, I was just kind of on guard, if anything.
What was it like the day you gave birth to your rainbow baby?
It was a sense of relief. Lacey, my rainbow baby, was a scheduled C-section. So, I'm not going in being rushed or anything like that. Everything was prepared. But, in the back of my mind, I still have these thoughts. Well, just because I'm preparing to go to the hospital and they're going to surgically remove her doesn't mean that stuff couldn't go wrong. So, to the very moment that they pulled her out of me, I was worried. I was very worried. But to see her, it was relief. It was very relieving.
How has this experience changed your life?
It has truly brought me closer to God. God was there with me in the valley moments when I was just depressed and didn't know how to cope or deal. He brought the right support group and experience, people in my life to help talk and walk with me through that process. And then, he eventually gave me the desires of my heart with the delivery of Lacey, and wanting to have another child in our family.
If you had any words of encouragement to someone who is trying to have another baby, what would that be?
So if you're watching this series, you're going to find a recurring theme here, and that is to trust God in this entire process. Nobody can tell you to keep going, because that's going to hurt your heart, like my friend Bailey told you, if things don't work out the way that you want. But if it is your desire to keep doing that, make sure that it aligns with God's will, and that you seek out what He wants for you and your family first, and then walk in that path. That might not necessarily lead to you having a baby, but maybe helping another baby that needs the help. So just look for God and seek for His wisdom and counsel. That's all I got.